Chapter 26. A day is coming when this song will be sung in the land of Judah. The city is a stronghold for us. The Lord's salvation, like inner and outer walls, makes it secure. Open the gates and let our righteous, faith-filled people enter in. Perfect, absolute peace surrounds those whose imaginations are consumed with you. They confidently trust in you. Yes, trust in the Lord Yahweh forever and ever. For Yah, the Lord God, is your rock of ages. He knocks down the high and mighty, and the lofty city he humbles and levels down to the dust, to be trampled down by the feet of the poor and exploited. The path of the righteous is smooth and level. God, the just one, you make a clear path for them. Yes, we will follow your ways, Lord Yahweh, and entwine our hearts with yours. For the fame of your name is all that we desire. At night, I yearn for you with all my heart. In the morning, my spirit reaches out to you when you display your judgments on the earth. Like people learn the ways of righteousness. But when mercy is shown to scoundrels, they still aren't able to learn righteousness. Even in a land of integrity, they still do wrong. For they ignore the great majesty of the Lord Yahweh. Lord Yahweh, you lift your mighty hand, but they do not see it. Let them witness how much you love your people and be ashamed. Let the fire reserved for your enemies consume them. Lord Yahweh, you will establish peace and prosperity for us, for all we have accomplished is the result of what you work through us. Lord Yahweh, our God, other lords have ruled over us, but we praise your name alone. Their dead don't come back to life. Their ghosts do not rise. For you have punished and destroyed them, wiping out even the memory of them. You have made our nation grow, Lord Yahweh. You have made our nation grow. You have revealed your glory, and you have extended all the borders of the land. Lord Yahweh, in their distress, they reached out to you. When you chastened them, they poured out prayer to you. Lord Yahweh, we were like a pregnant woman going into labor pains, writhing, screaming, and ready to deliver, all because of you. We were full term. We pushed and strained, but we gave birth only to winds. We accomplished nothing and have not brought deliverance into the world, nor its inhabitants new life. But your dead will live again. Their bodies will rise from the dead. It's time to awaken and sing for joy, you dwellers in the dust. As the glistening radiant dew refreshes the earth, so the Lord will awaken those dwelling among the dead. Go, my people, into your inner chambers and close the doors behind you. Hide for a little while until his indignation is over, for the Lord is coming out of his heavenly place to punish people for their sins. The earth itself will expose the blood spilled upon it, and the ground will no longer hide its slain. Chapter 27. In that day, the Lord Yahweh will mercilessly wield his massive mighty sword and punish Leviathan, the swift, slithering serpent. He will slay the dragon of the sea, Leviathan, the twisting serpent. In that day, they will sing the song, the vineyard of delight. I, the Lord, watch over my vineyard of delight, moment by moment. I water it in love and protect it day and night. There is no anger in me, for if I found briars and thorns, I would burn them up and march to battle against them. So let the branches cling to my protection when they make true peace with me. Yes, let them make me their friend. The coming ones of Jacob's tribes will take root. Israel's branches will bud and blossom, and her beautiful fruit will cover the face of the earth. Has Yahweh struck Israel as other nations have struck her? Has Israel been killed like her enemies have been killed? No, but with measured justice he exiled them and contended with them. He removed them from the land with his severe blast on the day his searing east wind blew. By the mercy of Yahweh, the guilt of Jacob will be forgiven. Yet the full proof of their forgiveness will be when they crush all the altars to false gods and make them into chalk stones, crushed to pieces, with neither cultic poles nor incense altars still standing. The fortified city lies in ruins, forsaken and deserted like a wilderness. Cattle graze there and lie down, chewing on twigs and branches. The trees are withered and stripped bare, and their women gather dead branches for firewood, because they are a people of no understanding. That is why their Maker will show them no compassion, and he who formed them will show them no favor. In that day, from the Egyptian border to the Euphrates, the Lord Yahweh will gather one by one the people of Israel, as one sifts wheat from the chaff. When that day comes, a great trumpet will sound, and those lost in the land of Assyria and Egypt, all the exiles, will come and bow down before the Lord Yahweh in Jerusalem and worship him on the holy mountain. Chapter 28. Woe to the pride of Israel's drunkards, worn like a garland on their heads. Their glory is but wilted flowers, worn a crown on the streets of those bloated with rich food and overcome by wine. Behold, the Lord has one who is strong and mighty, and he will come like a hailstorm and like a destroying wind, with a storm of massive flooding waters. His mighty power will knock it to the ground. That proud crown of the drunkards of Ephraim will be trampled underfoot, and the glory of these proud leaders will fade and disappear like the first figs of the season, which are picked and eaten as soon as they are ripe. In that day, Lord Yahweh, commander of angel armies, will be a crown of glory and a diadem of beauty for the remnant of his people. He will be a spirit of justice for judges to render right decisions, and he will be strength and bravery for those who turn back to the battle at the gate. Moreover, the prophets and priests are drunk. They stagger because of wine and stumble around because of strong drink. They are confused with wine, stumbling because of strong drink. They're too drunk to understand their prophetic visions. They're too drunk to render right decisions in judgment. All their banqueting tables are covered with filthy vomit. Vomit is everywhere. They say, "Who does this prophet think he is to try and teach us? Who really cares about his message? It's only good for babies just learning to talk. Do this and do that. A rule about this and a rule about that. Here a little, there a little. Since they won't listen to me, God will use another mouthpiece to speak to them. With stammering lips in a foreign language, he will speak to this people as he has said to them. This is your rest, so let the weary rest. This is your comfort." But they would not listen. Therefore, the word of Yahweh will be to them. Do this and do that. A rule about this and a rule about that. Here a little, there a little, in order that they will stumble backwards and be broken and captured. Therefore, listen to the word of Yahweh, you scornful jesters, rulers of Jerusalem. For you have said, "We have made a covenant with death and a pact with the underworld. So when the overwhelming scourge sweeps over us, it will not harm us. For we have made lies our refuge and find our shelter in falsehood." Here's what the Lord God says. Behold, I set in place in Zion a foundation stone, fully tested and proven to be faithful and secure. And written upon this precious cornerstone is this: those who trust in him will not act in haste. I will set justice as the true measurement and integrity as its plumb line. My hailstorm will sweep away your refuge of lies, and my floodwater will overwhelm your hiding place. Then your covenant with death will be annulled, and your pact with the underworld will not stand. And when the overwhelming scourge sweeps over you, it will sweep you away. As often as disaster passes by, it will carry you away. Morning by morning, day after day, it will sweep you away. When you fully understand this message, it will bring nothing but terror to you. Your bed is too short to stretch yourself out on, and your covering is too narrow to wrap yourself in. The Lord Yahweh will suddenly arise as on Mount Perazim in the valley of Gibeon. He arises to accomplish his strange work, peculiar as it is, his strange work of judgment. So do not mock, on your bonds will grow tighter. For I have heard the decree from my Lord Yahweh, commander of angel armies. He spoke a decree of destruction against the whole land. Hear my voice, listen to my words, and pay close attention to my parable. Does a farmer plow continually at planting time and never plant a crop? Does he continually break open the clods of the ground and never sow his seed? Once he has leveled its surface, does he not sow dill and cumin, planting his wheat in rows, his barley in its proper place, and his rye in a patch? Yes, his God has instructed him and taught him the right way of farming the land. Dill, a small seed, is not threshed with a threshing sledge, nor is a wagon wheel rolled over cumin. Dill is beaten with a rod, and cumin with a stick. Grain is crushed and milled for bread, but it is not threshed endlessly. One drives the wagon wheels over it, but his horse's hooves do not pulverize it. This counsel also comes from Lord Yahweh, commander of angel armies. For his guidance is unfathomable, and the heavenly wisdom he imparts is magnificent. Chapter 29. Woe to Ariel! Ariel, the town where David encamped. Go ahead, keep your annual feasts. Year after year, celebrate your annual festivals. I will bring distress to Ariel, and there will be great mourning. Jerusalem will be to me like what the name Ariel means, a burning altar heath. I will lay siege to you on all sides, encircling you with towers, and raising up my siege works against you. Brought low, you will speak from the dust of the earth. Your voice will be heard speaking from the ground, like out of the voice of a ghost. You will whisper out of the dust. Then suddenly, in an instant, your ruthless enemies will become nothing more than dust in the wind. Your vile tyrants like wind-driven chaff. She will be visited by the Lord Yahweh, commander of angel armies, with thunder, earthquake, and deafening noise, with whirlwind, tempest, and the blaze of a consuming fire. As quickly as fading dreams, or as fleeting as a vision of the night, so will all the vast hordes of all the nations fade away, and all who war against Ariel and her fortress disappear. Just as a hungry man dreams that he is eating, but wakes up still hungry, or as a thirsty man dreams that he is drinking, but wakes up weak and still longing for water, so it will be for the vast hordes of all the nations that fight against Mount Zion. Be totally shocked and amazed by what I am about to say to you. Blind yourselves and be totally blind. They are drunk, but not from wine. They stagger, but not from hard liquor. For Yahweh has poured out over you the spirit of a deep, deep sleep, putting the covers over your slumbering seers and rocking all your prophets to sleep. This entire prophetic revelation will become to you like the words of a sealed book. If it's given to one who can read it with the command, "Read this," he responds, "I can't because it is sealed." Or if it's given to one who is illiterate with the command, "Read this," he responds, "I can't because I cannot read." This is what the Lord Yahweh says about these people. They come near to me with hollow words and honor me superficially with their lips. All the while, their hearts run far away from me. Their worship is nothing more than man-made rules. So therefore, I will again jolt this people awake with astonishing wonders upon wonders. And the wisdom of their wise ones will fail, and the intelligent know-it-alls will have no explanations. Woe to you who think you can hide your plan from the Lord Yahweh. Ha! Do you actually think your secret schemes are so hidden that you say, "Who sees us doing this? No one knows what we're doing." Oh, how great is your perversion! Who is more intelligent, the potter or the clay? Should a created thing say to its creator, "You didn't make me"? Should a clay pot say to the potter, "You don't understand"? Before you know it, Lebanon will be transformed into a fruitful field, and the fruitful field will seem like a forest. In that day, the deaf will begin to hear the words that have been written. Out of the darkness and gloom, the eyes of the blind will be open to see. The meek will overflow with fresh joy in the Lord Yahweh, and the poor will shout their praises to the Holy One of Israel. For the terrible one will be no more. The scornful jester will not be found, and all the lovers of evil will be cut off. Those who make the innocent appear guilty, those who ensnare others with deceitful tactics, and those who lie to keep the innocent from getting justice will likewise be destroyed. So now, listen to what Yahweh, the God of Israel, who redeemed Abraham, has to say to Jacob's tribes. My people will no longer be disgraced. Your shame face will disappear. For when they see the miracle of the many children that I've given them, they will see me as holy and honor me. Yes, they will honor the Holy One of Jacob and stand in awe of the God of Israel. Those who are in spiritual error will come to understanding. And those who are always complaining will be glad to accept instruction. Chapter 30. This is what Yahweh says. Woe to the rebellious children who carry out their own plans but not mine, and who sign treaties without consulting my spirit, piling one sin upon another. You travel down to Egypt to find help without being guided by the words of my mouth. Instead, you put your trust in Pharaoh's protection, seeking shelter in the shadow of Egypt. Therefore, Pharaoh's protection will become your shame, and the shelter of Egypt's shadow will end in disaster. Though your officials arrive at Zoan and your ambassadors reach as far away as Hanes, all will be put to shame because of such unreliable people. They can offer you no help, only shame and disgrace. This is a prophecy of the desert animals. The burden of the caravan is to traverse a desert land of distress and trouble, a land of the lion and the lioness, and the snake and the flying eagle. They carry their riches on the donkey's back and their treasures on the camel's hump, to a nation that will give them nothing in return. Egypt's help is utterly worthless. That's why I nicknamed her Rahab, the do-nothing dragon. God told me to write down in a book words meant for the coming generation as an eternal witness, for they are stubborn rebels, children always telling lies, who refuse to listen to Yahweh's instruction. They say to the seers, "Stop seeing your visions." They say to the prophets, "Stop prophesying to us. What is right? Prophesy only pleasant things to us, even if they're illusions." Leave this narrow way. Turn aside this harsh path. Don't confront us anymore with the Holy One of Israel. Therefore, this is what the Holy One of Israel has to say. Because you have despised this message and trust in your own clever abilities to deceive and rely upon oppression, your own sin will become like a high bulging wall that is cracked and about to collapse in an instant. And it will all fall down. It will break into pieces like shattered pottery, smashed so ruthlessly that not even a fragment big enough to pick up a hot coal or scoop water from a cistern will be found. Lord Yahweh, the Holy One of Israel says, "Come back to me. By returning and resting in me, you will be saved. In quietness and trust, you'll be made strong." But you refused. And though you boast, "No, we will flee on horses. We will indeed flee for our lives." You say, "We will ride on swift horses." But your pursuers will be swift to chase you. 1,000 will flee at the threat of one, and all will flee at the threat of 5, until nothing will be left of you, like a lonely flagstaff on top of the hill, or like a signpost on a barren mountain. For this reason, the Lord is still waiting to show his favor to you, so he can show you his marvelous love. He waits to be gracious to you. He sits on his throne ready to show mercy to you. For Yahweh is the Lord of justice, faithful to keep his promises. Overwhelmed with bliss are all who entwine their hearts in him, waiting for him to help them. Yes, the people of Zion who live in Jerusalem will weep no more. How compassionate he will be when he hears your cries for help. He will answer you when he hears your voice. Even though the Lord may allow you to go through a season of hardship and difficulty, he himself will be there with you, and he will not hide himself from you, for your eyes will constantly see him as your teacher. When you turn to the right or turn to the left, you will hear his voice behind you to guide you, saying, "This is the right path, follow it." Then you will see your idols as they are, unclean. Your silver overlaid idols and gold-plated images are defiled. You will discard them like a filthy menstrual cloth, saying to them, "Good riddance." Then God will supply you with abundant rain for the seeds you sow. He will bless you with an incredible, plentiful harvest. And that day, he will give you lush, broad pastures for your cattle. Even your oxen and donkeys that work the soil will feed on good grain separated from its chaff. On the day of great slaughter, when all their towers tumble, God will bless you with sparkling streams of bubbling brooks flowing down every high hill and every lofty mountain. Moonlight will shine as bright as sunlight, and the sun's glare will become 7 times brighter, like the light of 7 days rolled into one. That will be the day when the Lord Yahweh heals the bruises and wounds that he has inflicted. Look, here comes Yahweh with his mighty power and glory. He comes in his awesome splendor with thick clouds, consumed with anger. His lips are filled with fury. His words are a devouring fire. His breath is an overwhelming as a flooding river, reaching up to the neck. He sifts the nations in his sieve of destruction and places a bridle in their jaws that causes them to wander. But you will have a joyous song throughout the night as one celebrating a holy consecrated feast. You will have gladness of heart as one celebrating the sound of a flute and dancing up the mountain of Yahweh, the rock who shelters Israel. And Yahweh will cause everyone to hear his awe-inspiring, majestic voice. He will open their eyes to see his mighty power coming down with raging anger and consuming fire. His power will descend in a cloudburst, thunderstorm, and hail. When his rod strikes the Assyrians, they will be terror-stricken by the mighty voice of the Lord Yahweh. Every stroke of Yahweh's punishing rod will be to the sound of cymbals and strumming harps. God himself fights them in battle with dancing. From long ago, the king's fury burial place has been prepared, stacked high with plenty of firewood to fuel the flame. Yahweh's breath, like a stream of sulfur, kindles it.